So the first question will be effects on introducing the new Green Deal in agriculture. Basically, what do you think they will be?
Well, the European Green Deal is the ambition of the European Union to become the first climate neutral continent by 2050. And that is an ambition and a goal that is shared by the Polish and the European dairy sector. Now, when it comes to the economic impact, especially on the farming side, but also on the processing side, we have asked for an impact assessment. That's what the European Commission normally does, to kind of calculate what does that mean for the farmers, what does it mean for the dairy industry. And so far we have only seen pieces of this impact assessment from the European Parliament Research Centre and from the European Commission Research Centre. And those two studies show that, or predict that, we will have a drop in milk production all over Europe of about 10%, and more importantly, prices will go up for the in terms of costs for the farmers in producing milk. Now, what we did, we have commissioned a study with the Wageningen University in the Netherlands to have a more in-depth study on the potential impact of the Green Deal and the farm-to-fork strategy on livestock industry, meat and dairy. And that will be published, I think, end of September, beginning of October.
Okay. And you think it will be, it will bring something new, something we didn't know yet, or something?
Well, Carolina, we hope that it will give us a more precise figure on what to expect. Because if we want to go for 25% organic land use in the European Union, if we want to limit antibiotic use, if we want to limit fertilizer use, that will all have an impact on the production costs of milk. And then that has, of course, an impact on the product, on the volumes produced in Europe. And that, to modelize that, to have an idea what will go on by 2030 and by 2050, but first of all by 2030, which is in 8 years' time.
Exactly.
We need that basis in order to discuss with the European Commission, in the first place, of course, our Commissioner for Agriculture, Janusz Wojciechowski, the measures we need to support the dairy sector to get there.
Okay, you think Green Deal will touch more small farmers or the large industries? I think they can defend themselves because they've got funds to invest maybe and to change the way of how they work, so be more eco and the small farmers, they will end up in troubles, are they? Or?
Well, frankly, when it comes to the Green Deal farm-to-fork strategy as it is today, we are, as often in the dairy sphere, all in the same boat. Is it the big companies, is it the small companies, is it the small farmers, the big farmers? We are all in the same boat here for the time being. And I think even in the contrary, I think when it comes to transforming a farm to an organic farm, for instance, from a conventional farm to an organic farm, from my experience, I think that smaller farms will be better place to go for organic, for instance. And so I don't think that there will be an unfair level playing field between big and small farms.
Okay.
The only experience we have is that small farms are more resilient. They are more resilient. The bigger farms, which you called, Carolina, industrial farms, who have a balance sheet, who really have to produce their figures every 3 months, every 6 months, they are more likely to stop production whenever they see for the next 2 or 3 years there will be not enough margin, there will be not enough profit. While a small dairy farms, and I'm coming from a small dairy farm in Bavaria, a small dairy farm, if for 1-2 years you don't make the margin you need, you still keep on dairying your cows.
Okay. And last question maybe. Yesterday, Commissioner Wojciechowski in his speech mentioned that all these Green Deal changes, they're not going to be element of the compulsion, so they will be just a voluntary thing. Do you think you agree with it?
What he said is there are no mandatory measures but one, which is the set aside of 4% of productive agricultural land, which is, as Commissioner Wojciechowski said, rather easy to fulfill for dairies. Let's face it. He's completely right there. Now, telling us there will be no other compulsory measures, I doubt that, because we made an analysis of the Green Deal. The Green Deal is a strategy, is a political paper, right? Mm-hmm. And the farm to fork strategy, the biodiversity strategy, these are strategies, political papers. But what it compasses, what it contains, is a whole plenitude of measures that will be legislative measures, and we have made the check. There are more than 120 legislative acts that will come upon dairy, and of course, who says legislative act says obligations. So that is that's a fact, and we'll see in 2-3 years' times. I hope Commissioner Wojciechowski is right, but I doubt. I frankly doubt.
Find some methods of terror.
But no, come on, no, not terror, of nudging, of pushing people, right?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.